1,000. What did we get when we multiplied 275 times 1,000? 275,000. So the weight of each deck of cards is 275,000 pounds. 275,000 pounds. Okay, does everybody understand though that 275 divided by 1,000 is equivalent to 275 times 1 over 1,000, which is equivalent to 275 times 1,000. All of those will give you the exact same answer. All of them will give you the exact same answer. So think about it this way too. If on your test, you, Mackenzie, Scotty, come to your seat. Let's go. Skyland. If on your test you saw this written down instead of this one written down, which way would you move your decimal? To the left. To the left. It's still considered a part because this is equivalent to these two. So it's just like saying I am multiplying by a fraction or a whole number. Even though I'm a fraction or a decimal. Even though I'm dividing by a whole number. So 1, 2, 3, move your decimal to the left. All three of them. Okay? I don't know if they're going to do it this way. When I was learning math, this is how we did it, but they've slowly switched to only doing fractions and decimals. Okay? Any questions? Please stop that noise. All right. Let's go over to our next page. Shh. No. Shh. 321. 421. 421. I said to your desk. Alright. A store receives and sells 1,000 deck of math cards. If the amount received from selling 1,000 deck of cards is $9,450, what is the price of each deck of cards? Okay, so they have gotten their shipment. Please stop. They've gotten their shipment. Okay? They sell them. They sell 1,000 of them. They now have $1,450. But they're like, how much if we sell each deck of cards for? What could you do to find your answer? What did you earn? Yes. Price, yes. Other way. Oh. Take your total. You were right the first time. Take your total, divide it by how many you sold, and that's going to give you the price of each deck. That's the price of each deck. Okay? Divide 9,450 by 1, 10s, 100, and 1,000. Write the numerical form. Write the exponent form. That does not say expanded. divided by 1 equals 9,450. So that would be 9,450 divided by 10 to the power of, how many zeros are in this? So to the power of 0 equals 9,450. Alright? 9,450 divided by 10 equals 945. Decimal moves how many places? To the left. Alright? Remember I said if you're dividing by a whole number, it's the same as if you're multiplying by a fraction or a decimal. Alright? Exponent form. 9,450 divided by 10 to the power of 1 equals 945. Okay? Next. 9,450 divided by 100 equals how many places? 2 to the, so that would be 94. 1, 2, 94, and 5/10, or you can say 50 hundredths. That's 9,450 divided by 10 to the power of 2 zeros equals 94 and 50 hundredths. And then 9,450 divided by 1,000 equals, not just 9, 1, 2, 3. So that's 9 and 450,000, or 9,450 divided by 10 to the power of 3 equals 9 and 450,000. Okay? Any questions? Everybody see that pattern? Remember, if you are dividing by a whole number, it's the same as multiplying by a fraction or a decimal. So we move to the left. All right. How is the value of the digits in the quotient in your pattern? How is the change in the position of the decimal related to the exponent and the power of 10? So every time we move the decimal, how many what? No, we're talking about the exponent now. So let's look at this one. We had it times 10 to the power of 0. How many times did we move the decimal? 0. We got the same answer, right? So it's 0. How many times did we move the decimal when we did power of 1? 1. Power of 2. 2. Power of 3. 3. So how is the decimal related to the exponent? Corey? Nope. Amelia? How is the decimal related to the exponent? Mackenzie? We're not talking about the zeros. We're talking about the exponent. The 0, the 1, the 2, the 3. How is the decimal? Turn around! Bryson. It's not the zeros. We're not talking about the zeros. We're talking about the exponent. I know why you're saying this, because the exponent is based on the number of zeros. So in this question, we don't care about the The number of the exponent is how many times you move. Yes. So you move the decimal based on the exponent. So if you have an exponent of 7, how many times are you moving that decimal? 7 times. If you have an exponent of 20, how many times are you moving that decimal? 20 times. If you have an exponent of 0, how many times are you moving that decimal? 0 times. The exponent tells you how many times to move the decimal. The sign tells you which direction. Or I should say the sign and the other number tells you which way to move it. Okay? How does the place value of the digit in the quotient in your pattern change as you divide by increasing powers of 10? So look at the place values. Pick one of the digits. I don't care which one. The 9, the 4, the 5, or the 0. What is happening to the place value of the digit that you're looking at? Does it get higher or does it get lower? It gets lower. The place value gets lower. The place value gets smaller. If you notice, the 9 right here was in the thousands place, right? When we divided by 1,000, the 9 decreased to the ones place. It got smaller. In the exponent part, the 4 was in the hundreds place, right? When we divided by 10 to the power of 2, it ended up in the tens place. It got smaller. Alright? To find the cost of each deck of cards, how will the decimal point shift? Look back at your original equation that we wrote. What are we dividing? 9,450 divided by 1,000. Right? Okay? Look at your pattern. What's going to happen to the decimal place? It's going to do what? It moves 3 times to the left. Alright, so what is the price of each deck of cards? Now, when you're thinking about money, we kept the 0 in our original price because there was a 0 in our answer, right? Or in the amount we earned. But does money go to the thousandth place? No, it goes to the hundredth place. So you can take the 0 off to write the money. Alright? So what would our price of each deck of cards be? $9.45. I'm not going to lie to you. If you put that 0, it's not technically wrong. It's just we don't write money like that. So if we're selling it money, we can leave the 0 off. I know I spent $450,000. Boy, you spent $9.45. gonna stop here. I think on your computer I told you to go ahead to the third page. We're gonna stop right here. Are there any questions about what we did? Okay, so quick review. If we are dividing by a whole number, 10 base, which way is that decimal moving? The left, dividing. Because the division is the same as multiplying by a fraction or a decimal. So all three of those, dividing by or multiplying by a fraction or a decimal, you shift your whole number to the left. To the left. Okay?